Welcome to IT English Hub, the podcast where we help software engineers master English for the workplace. I'm your host, Bob, and today we're diving into Episode 1, Daily Stand-ups and Blockers. If you work in tech, you've probably been in a daily stand-up meeting. This is a short meeting where team members share what they worked on yesterday, what they're planning today, and any problems blocking their progress. Stand-ups are a cornerstone of Agile development methodology, typically lasting 15 minutes or less. They help teams stay synchronized and identify obstacles early. Many companies hold these meetings at the same time every day, often first thing in the morning. The format is simple but effective. Each team member answers 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What will you do today? Are there any impediments in your way? Today we'll listen to Alex, a senior developer, and Sarah, a junior developer, as they navigate their morning stand-up. Pay attention to the key phrases they use. We'll break them down for you and show you how to use them in your own workplace. Let's get started.
Good morning, Sarah. Ready for our daily stand-up?
Morning, Alex. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. I'll start. Yesterday, I finished the user authentication refactor and deployed it to production. Today, I'm working on code reviews for the team, and I should have bandwidth to help with any urgent issues that come up.
Okay, sounds good.
Also, just a heads up, I noticed the database performance was a bit sluggish yesterday evening. I've scheduled some maintenance for tonight to optimize the queries. This shouldn't affect anyone's work, but if you notice any slowdowns, that might be why. No blockers on my end. How about you, Sarah?
Well, yesterday I was working on the payment gateway integration, but I'm actually blocked on a ticket right now. It's ticket 405, the API integration. I keep getting a 401 authentication error when I try to connect to the third-party service.
Ah, I see. A 401 error usually means there's an authentication issue.
Right. I've checked the API keys multiple times, but I'm not sure what I'm missing.
No worries. That's definitely something we can solve. Let's take this offline after the stand-up, and I'll help you debug it.
That would be great. Thank you so much, Alex.
Perfect. Anything else blocking you today?
No, that's the main issue. Once we get this sorted, I should be able to finish the integration and move forward.
Excellent. All right, let's wrap up the stand-up and then dive into that 401 error.
Let's pause here and break down important phrases you just heard. First, bandwidth. When Alex said, "I should have bandwidth to help," he wasn't talking about internet speed. In tech, bandwidth means having the time and mental energy available for additional tasks. For example, you might say, "I don't have the bandwidth to take on another project this sprint," or "Do you have bandwidth to review my code?" Second, blocked on a ticket. Sarah said she was blocked on a ticket. This means she can't continue her work because of a specific problem. A ticket is a work item in project management tools like Jira, Linear, or Asana. You create tickets to track bugs, features, and tasks. When you're blocked, it means you're stuck and can't make progress. Third, take this offline. When Alex suggested they take this offline, he meant they should discuss the problem privately, outside of the current meeting. This is common in meetings when detailed troubleshooting might bore other attendees. You can also say, "Let's continue this conversation after the meeting." Fourth, did you notice Alex mentioned database performance was sluggish? Sluggish means slow or unresponsive. In tech, we often describe systems as sluggish when they're not performing optimally. Now let's hear how they solve Sarah's problem.
Okay, Sarah, can you share your screen and show me the code where you're making the API call?
Sure, let me pull up the file. Here's where I'm setting up the request headers. Actually, before I show you the code, let me give you some context. I'm trying to integrate with a payment processing API called Stripe. The documentation says I need to authenticate using their API key, but every time I make a request, I get this 401 error.
I can see the issue right away. You're using the API key correctly, but you need to include bearer before the token in your authorization header. Got it. 401 errors can be tricky. They typically mean unauthorized access. Let me see what you've got. Can you walk me through your request headers step by step?
Oh, bearer token. I completely forgot about that. Well, I'm setting the content type to application/JSON, and I'm putting the API key in the authorization header like this: authorization and then my API key.
It happens to everyone. Try changing line 23 to authorization equals bearer plus your API key. Ah, there's your problem. Most modern APIs, especially payment services, use bearer token authentication. This means you need to prefix your token with the word bearer followed by a space. It's a security standard called RFC 6750. The server expects the exact format: bearer plus space plus your token.
Let me update that. Okay, trying the request again. Yes, it's working now. I'm getting a 200 response.
Perfect. So now you can finish the integration work.
Exactly. I think I can complete the feature today and push to staging by end of day. This is such a relief. I was banging my head against the wall for hours yesterday. I even tried regenerating the API key thinking it was corrupted.
That sounds like a solid plan. Once it's in staging, the QA team can start testing. That's totally understandable. Authentication headers can be frustrating because the error messages aren't always clear. Different APIs use different authentication schemes. Some use API keys, others use bearer tokens, OAuth, or basic authentication. The important thing is to check the documentation carefully and don't hesitate to ask for help when you're stuck.
Great.
Let's circle back at 4:30 p.m. to check how the testing is going, okay?
Perfect. Thanks so much for your help, Alex. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. That's what teamwork is about.
Let's review the final two phrases from that conversation. When Sarah said she would push to staging, she meant uploading her code to the staging environment. That's a testing environment where code is tested before going to production. The typical workflow is development, then staging, then production. And when Alex suggested they circle back at 4:30, he meant they should check in again later to follow up on the progress. This shows good project management and follow-through. Now, let's practice using these phrases in context. Imagine you're in a stand-up meeting. You could say, "I have bandwidth to help with code reviews today," or "I'm blocked on the API integration due to authentication issues," or "Let's take the database discussion offline after this meeting." For troubleshooting, you might say, "I was banging my head against the wall with this bug," or "Let me push this fix to staging for testing." Remember, these phrases are used daily in tech companies around the world. They help you communicate more naturally and professionally with your colleagues. Practice using them in your own stand-up meetings and technical discussions. That's it for episode 1 of IT English Hub. We covered 7 essential tech phrases: bandwidth, blocked on a ticket, take this offline, push to staging, circle back, authentication schemes, and banging your head against the wall. You can find our study guide with examples and exercises on our website, along with the pronunciation guides and role-play scenarios to practice these conversations. Next week, we'll cover episode 2, code reviews and technical feedback, where you'll learn how to give and receive constructive feedback on code. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Before we wrap up, let's highlight a few more phrases from that troubleshooting session. Alex mentioned authentication schemes. A scheme is a systematic approach or method. In tech, we have authentication schemes, database schemas, and naming schemes. When Sarah said she was banging her head against the wall, this is an idiom meaning she was struggling with a problem for a long time without success. You might also hear hitting a brick wall or spinning my wheels to express similar frustration. Alex also mentioned checking documentation carefully. Good documentation is crucial in software development. We often say RTFM, which stands for Read the Fine Manual, though the F sometimes represents a stronger word. This emphasizes that reading documentation thoroughly can solve many problems.